Hello, and welcome to Real Talk with Angry Soccer Mom. Just getting set up here. I hope you had a wonderful holiday for those viewers who celebrate the holidays. Today, our topic for this live show, it includes anything you feel is newsworthy about racism, bigotry, and inequality in America. And that pretty much covers everything. So, for white Americans, understanding our real racial history supports a more honest discussion about racism in America. It's imperative that white Americans learn how our past and present culture of systemic racism has caused the divisive social issues that plague us today. And they're not going to be going anywhere unless we step up to the plate and face our real racial history. It's the job, and this is obviously a comment, it's the job of every single white American to educate ourselves so that we can educate other white Americans in the best ways to support, not lead, but support our nation to have equality for everybody. So I'm going to see who we have here. Let me just check out. I have one person. Don't be shy to say hello. I know it might be a little bit of a slow live show viewer day because people are still enjoying their holiday, which I hope most people have off a little bit of time. But I hope you celebrate. Those who celebrate had a good holiday, and I'd love to hear about it. I'm just super happy for anyone who is here. So don't be shy to jump in and say hello and let me know what you think. Because the purpose of this show is to get the voices, isn't to listen to me go on and on, but to more like to hear the voices of people who just average good people who want to express themselves and talk about racism, bigotry, and inequality in a setting that is heterogeneous and one that's real. So, hi, Stevie. Hello. Nice to see you. Anton, thank you for being here. Oh my gosh, I'm excited to see people that are here. Let me just read. Anton, hello. Thank you. America, the land of the thief of home of slaves of, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to swear on this, but demonic, murderous, insidious, venomous, corrupt society and all its allies, U.S. under Satan's authority. And I know who you are now. Hi, Neil. Yeah, I think, in fact, your Anton, this is kind of funny. Your comment has been detected as a possible. It's something I'd want to hide, but I'm fine with it. I just wanted to let you know that I don't know what else to think sometimes, and I'd really love for you to tell us more. What do you tell us more, because sometimes I think I don't know what to think either. And I'm a white person. I can't imagine what people of color or Black Americans think. So we're here to hear people express themselves. So go for it. There we go. Hi, Neil. I think I just said that. Thank you for being here. We might have a smaller audience today, but that's fine. Maybe people will be able to talk more intimately and talk about what they want to talk about. So I get the feeling that a lot of people are probably still on vacation, or at least maybe off of work, I'm hoping. I have a feeling about this new year, and I think it's going to be insane. That might be the understatement of the century, but I'm very, very much ready to have a change and a sway in the right direction. So I am extremely excited for the new Congress to come in. What do you guys think? The bottom line is, for me, no matter what happens in the next few years, which I think we've seen nothing. I think the drama is going to be real. Hi, Rosa. Thanks for being here. Um, I think the bottom line is white America needs to start talking, listening, learning, and educating ourselves about our own racial history because this isn't going away. I mean, there's a handful of people who are thrilled to have 45 as our president. So this isn't going to go away anytime soon. We need to start studying and learning our real racial history. And another thing, we need to start white America. I'm not, we need to start making friends. And I'm talking genuine, close friendships with people who don't look like us. And that might be scary for some people, but it's a hell of a lot less scary than thinking about where we're headed. And so people need to take it upon themselves. I always say, one of my videos, say, if you're white, look down. Are you white? I'm talking to you. I'm talking to all white people. It's not enough to say I'm nice to everybody. This system needs dismantling. Being nice to everybody, that's great. It's not going to dismantle the system, though. Not being able to stand, you have to be able to stand up and support, not lead, but support our brothers and sisters of color who deserve real equality. So I just think it's way past time for white Americans to use their white privilege to actually empower people in historically marginalized groups. So let me know what you want to think, what you want to talk about. Again, it's absolutely open. Anyone who wants to, thoughts, feelings, comments, questions, go for it. So while you're thinking about things you might want to talk about, because there's so much going on, I'm going to start on a little bit of a rant, and it's something that impacts us all. And it's a little different slant. So, Steve, we have racism here in the UK, but it's not as bad in the US. Yeah, you know what? I've heard that. But then my other friend says that you have it there, but people don't talk about it. So I mean, I've heard that it's way better because you guys stopped the actual chattel type slavery. So anything you have to say, I'd love to hear it. Marcus the Great One. Thanks for being here. What's up? What's up? What's up? Well, we're doing a live show, and I am wanting everybody to participate and tell me what you think. So while you guys are thinking about what you want to say, and jump right in, I wanted to start by saying that many Americans, most white Americans have some sort of inability or unwillingness to question this traditional, old-fashioned, antiquated thoughts that are outdated. And in today's modern world, it's as if technology's going on and on, what was it like multiplying, every 7 years it doubles, or some statistic I remember from long ago. But socially, my God, it's not the case. It's not happening. So, I mean, we need to start stepping up to the plate. So that's kind of what I'm going to talk about while you guys are thinking what you want to say. I see Panama Girl. Why do Trump supporters always say, show me how is Trump racist? Yeah, that's a very, very good question. And I know it happens all the time. Show me. Well, part of the problem is they don't, okay, I can't answer that because, I'm not really a Trump supporter, as you might have gathered, but it happens all the time. And part of it is they honestly are looking at they're looking at what's discriminating and racism in very old-fashioned terms. They're looking for people burning crosses and wearing white hoods. Well, you know what? They're wearing suits and ties now, and they're judges, and they're police, and they're doctors, and they're lawyers. And I'm sorry, they're teachers, and they're social workers, and they're people who, at minimum, are holding implicit bias, which they are unwilling or unable, or I don't know, absolutely not examining. So there's a hell of a lot of white America who's not doing introspection, and they are not looking at themselves and thinking, how can I be part of the solution? A lot of them think they are part of the solution. All right, let me get some comments here. I'm going to just start. Ah, Stevie, impeach the orange man. Orange man, yeah. And Stevie. Oh, I meant as the U.S. Okay, I got it. Um, Neil, I don't think I do enough as a white man to do more to show my fellow Black people how they're important and how much they mean to me in society. Neil, that's you know what? I think that's a really beautiful thing to say, and as a white man, you're willing to say something like that. I think you just said it all right there. It's incredibly hard for white people to drop their ego. Take a slice of humble pie. Take the whole freaking pie. I mean, my God, it's just this defensive, incredibly defensive. Like I need to tell you guys that, but it's not easy. It has to be done. We white people have to care, and we have to delve into ourselves. Like our nation's young, and with the culture the way it is right now and the way it's been, we're not cutting it. We're just not cutting it. So let me just take a few more people here. Mr. SF Black, have you seen that footage of the high school wrestler being made to cut his locks to compete? It's like Black people can't even wear our own natural hair without it being a problem. Yes, I absolutely saw that, and I was thoroughly disgusted on pretty much every level. I know that there's been some disciplinary action, but my God, can you imagine being, I mean, I played high school sports. I played high school varsity sports and college varsity sports. Can you imagine? Your team is looking at you and some racist piece of you know what decides that you don't meet the standards for your hair? My God, what a humiliating, just somebody was saying demasculating. I'm not a guy, so I don't know, but I mean, I can imagine. I mean, I know a little bit about locks, and that's who you are. You wear locks. That is part of who you are as a human being, and they are not easy to maintain. And I mean, yes, I did see that, and I'm disgusted. And I actually posted a couple follow-ups on that because I want to make sure that whoever did I mean, I just can't believe that his team didn't jump in and say, I would have liked to see, and I know this is easy for me to say sitting on the sidelines, I would have liked to see his team say, you know what, you make him do that, we're done. We don't have to do that. We'll leave. I know it was probably like a sudden thing, but I would have really, really liked to see some unity. And I don't know that there wasn't, but you know how media goes, there could have been. But if anyone knows about that, let me know. And yes, I've seen that footage and it was disgusting. Panera, I just wonder what's the psychological reason behind it. Yeah, Jerome, thank you for being here. Hello. Yeah, I always wondered too. There's so many theories, and I've studied a couple of the theories, and it's human nature is such that when you cling on to the first thing that you learned, and even when given information that's factually absolutely showing that that was not right, people still cling on to it with not less, not equal, but more vengeance and more might. And it is such a strange, strange thing. But I mean, part of that is human nature, and I don't get it. But education, I wish I had the answers. And anyone else who wants to jump in and answer her question, I would love it. Michael Johnson. Hi, Kim. Thank you for all that you do to address the issue of racism, specifically the blindness and lack of empathy by many white people concerning the treatment of Black people in America. Thank you so much for saying that. You are more than welcome. It's my absolute honor. Actually, if I'm being really honest, it's selfish. I can't stand living in a society that is full of shit. I mean, I hate to say it, but I try to keep it real. I can't stand it. It's like we boast liberty and justice for all. What BS is that? And it makes me sick that the cognitive dissonance is disgusting. And it's all for a totally made up thing. It's a human construct. It's made up. There's no such thing. We're all in the same race. It's just insane. I mean, so as a teacher, it drives me insane. So it's kind of selfish what I do. I do this because I can't take it. I don't want to live in a society that's full of crap and that is so just unwilling to look at the mirror. When they say they want to build a wall, forget the wall. We need a mirror. We need some self-actualization in this nation, and it is just not happening. But thank you, Mike. Thank you, Michael. That's really sweet of you. I appreciate it. So today, what I'm going to do a little bit while people are thinking what they want to talk about, and if you have information on stuff that you want to talk about, jump in. I will read long, if you have some insider scoop or an area that you're really good with, just say the words. I want everybody to speak up. The stuff I want to talk about today was about how the white people today, for some reason, they reject and resist this new social science technology called, modern knowledge. It's like saying, well, when I was little, we didn't wear seatbelts and we were okay. No, you were okay. You didn't die in a crash. Nowadays, seatbelts, you don't know who did or didn't because we didn't have the communication technology that we have now. So, I mean, people just dig their heels in and they want to remain old-fashioned, and it's killing people. And, the best, any attorney who's trying to prove a case will tell you the thing they love the most on their jury is ignorant, uneducated people, because they can swim. I mean, just ask Trump. He knows how to sway his base with total lies, but they're lies that they kind of can relate to because maybe their ma and pa might have talked that way or acted that way. So, I mean, he's doing it. So today I want to talk about some very real examples. And part of it is that white America are viewing these social issues with the same lens their parents did, rather than taking advantage of the abundance of new information that's become available for our advanced understanding in social sciences. It's like people will, go on the internet and they'll do all this stuff to play games and have fun and do social things. And they realize that, technology's tripling, doubling, quadrupling. But how about our social ability to be human? I don't think that's moving too fast. And I hate to be the soothsayer of doom, but I get a strange feeling that's what's going to do us in. Our inability to act like humans to our fellow humans. Such a simple, simple thing. So I'm going to start with some really real examples, and I'm going to scroll a little bit, jump right in anytime with anything you have to say. Most of these will seem intuitive. They'll appear to make sense, but then when you dig a little bit further, these examples will reveal the false reasoning, and the kind of false reasoning that is easy to fall into if you aren't doing the research, if you aren't utilizing the internet and researching and cross-checking and just all that stuff. I mean, you can be accepting of whatever Fox News says and live your whole life in total and complete BS. It's unbelievable. So if we dig a little deeper, which I'm going to do today, I'm going to just mention some examples. The following are examples that self-promoting politicians feed their uneducated constituents in order to gain support so they can change the laws that end up harming most Americans. And the people who benefit the most, you guessed it, the ultra-rich, powerful white elite who rule our nation. It's disgusting, and it's all because white America needs to educate ourselves in our own racial history. It's our racial history. So we need to do that. And it is not the responsibility of Black Americans, African Americans, Brown Americans, Indigenous people, Latino people, Hispanic. It is not their responsibility to teach us how to stop being the oppressor. White people need to step up to the plate, suck it up, and learn about our history. Just because if you're white and don't consider yourself a part of the white group, I'm sorry. By default, you were born into it. It's not your fault until you saw it, you realized what it was, and you did nothing. Then I'm sorry. That's just how I feel. And that's, a little more commentary than I want to do, but it's true. So the first example that people just fall for like suckers. I want to make sure I didn't skip anybody. And that is, it seems logical to severely punish someone who breaks a law. Just kind of seems intuitive that the harshness of the consequences would act as a deterrent. But lo and behold, social science has shown this to not be the case. And I say this so kind of, sarcastic. It kills me that people are willing to use the utmost in technology, but when it comes to social science research and things that are true, they want to stick with what, Granny and Grampy used to talk about instead of evolving and being more human. Michael Johnson. I used to wonder why all this disparity occurred against Black people and people of color. While I couldn't explain it all for the life of me, I think I had to read this. Deuteronomy 28 explains it all. Tell me what that is, because I am not privy to, I don't know what that is, and I want you to tell us. So this is the moment I've been waiting for. Let us know what that is, and if it's something you can post or explain more of, go for it. Because this is all about not just me blabbing, but everybody, joining in and telling me what you're thinking. Thank you, Michael. So we'll be waiting. And if it's something you can't do right away, just add it to the post after the live show. So here's the thing with, let me see, with the social science, extreme punishment doesn't deter. Studies have been done over and over again. It's not more likely to get a person to not commit a crime. So since that's so kind of counterintuitive, when you take a person, for example, a Trump supporter, or somebody who is very willing to listen and not analyze or delve into the real meat of the issue, it does sound like, beat your kid enough, maybe they'll do what you say. I mean, it's kind of old-fashioned, but they might do what you say when you're watching. It's just social science. It's real. Social science is real. So conservatives who want tougher laws on crime and all this, they're confused, because conservatives don't want politicians who are tougher on crime. That's too simplistic. That's old-fashioned. What we need are politicians who are smarter on crime, not harsher, smarter. If you look at other nations, which I know Americans really don't generally like to do because, we're ethnocentric. We're like, yay, America. They have examples of humanistic ways that people don't return to prisons. They're rehabilitated, basically. And I know you can't do that for everybody and violent criminals. That's scary, but our jails are lined with people who haven't even had trials. They haven't been, they're not guilty. They haven't had a trial yet. Our jails are lined with people who have minor offenses, who have 3 strikes of things that are ludicrous. I mean, like, I need to tell you guys this. So let me just read right here. Panama Girl, my daughter seems to think that younger generations of white people aren't as racist. I'm not sure about that. What do you think? Um, to be honest, that is a absolutely fantastic thing to ask. And I have two, older teens, and my problem is this: I don't have anybody in my life who's overtly racist. I'm privileged, white privilege, economic privilege, call it what you want. I don't have to hang around people like that. And I thank the Lord above. I don't have to work. I work at home. So they, everybody they know is ludicrously woke, as I mean, from standards of just comparing them to people who don't even realize we're not, no, sorry, we're not in a post-racial era because we had a black president. I mean, this stuff gets really bad, as you know, but I can't tell. From my viewpoint, oh my gosh, yes. The younger generation, they're laughing at us like we're destroying their chance at a great life, and we're definitely destroying their chances for the American dream. I mean, the middle class is just dwindling, and it is absolutely because of the wealthy elite who make laws that benefit them and harm. There's a lot of reasons, but also the corporations paying minimum wage so that their worker who works 40 to 50 hours a week still needs welfare. It's corporate welfare, and we can talk about that. I could talk about that all day long. But yeah, so my answer is I don't know, because I'm in my own little bubble of just humanism bubble, I guess you could call it. But thank you for asking that. And Jerome, racism serves selfish motives. Racists aren't dumb; they're self-serving, I believe. Yeah, Jerome, I think you might be right. The only time, I don't know, what do you guys think? Is it just that white America is just so freaking selfish they can't see straight? It's definitely a possibility. I don't have the answers. But part of the thing is, Jerome, and everybody, is that they might be super selfish and stuff, but they're going against their own best interests. They're idiots. I mean, no offense, but they're freaking morons, because white people who uphold racism, they they're going against their own best interest. They're killing themselves. It's really kind of a crazy phenomenon. They are doing exactly, precisely what they are supposed to be doing to keep America in its place, and it's unbelievable. And yeah, Jerome, you're saying I've met racists with high IQs. I think it's not just, IQ, and I don't know. I honestly, I don't know. And Panama, selfishness is one reason. Absolutely. Selfishness. I think it's psychological. It's psychological. People feel like shit about themselves. And the one thing they can cling on to, hi, Dwayne, the one thing thanks for being here, they can cling on to, and this is pathetic, and this is from politicians long ago, talked about this. As long as they can say, at least I'm not black. I might be poor. I might be this, but at least, it's very psychological. And IQ is obviously, you don't need me to school you guys in this, but IQ is really one facet of intelligence, and social intelligence, the ability to care deeply for somebody other than you, I think, is a form of intelligence. And unfortunately, we don't really value that in America. I just think there's, being empathetic is part of intelligence. IQ is just one little part, and that's kind of my take. I wanted to make sure, Deuteronomy 28, fifth book of the Old Testament, specifically outlines the punishments. This is Michael. Thank you for following up. And now I know why I don't know what that is. I am not religious, and I am not remotely religious. I have a lot of respect for people who are religious, but I personally chose not to, so I know nothing. Okay, so he's going to teach me fifth book of the Old Testament specifically outlines the punishments against the Israelites for disobeying God. It is very specific, and I think you'd agree once you read it. Okay? And I will definitely want to know more about that. Thank you. Jerome, how do you explain racists who are doing well socially and economically? Jerome, how do I personally explain? I'm not 100% sure what you're asking, and I want to answer that because you know I have an opinion, and I hope everyone else does too. Thank you, Avant. Emotional intelligence. Yep, that's definitely what I was talking about. But yeah, Jerome, I don't know if I can explain, but let me pose that to everybody. How do you explain somebody who's doing well socially and economically? Well, if they're a white person and they're racist, it served them well. And I mean, our whole country was based on white supremacy. So of course, the system is made for us. And if you're wealthy and you're white, you are able to accumulate wealth, and you don't have all the problems pushing you down and making sure that you don't make it and get to the American dream. And sure, there are laws, but laws can't change a person's heart. Laws can't make you care. Laws can't make you think logically and humanely. People circumvent, you've seen how people circumvent the law. They get around it. That's why I always push for people to educate themselves. And this is a white people problem we have in America. And a lot of elite people and people who are overtly racist would like to make masses of people think that we have a brown person problem or an indigenous person problem or a black person problem. And that's total bullshit. We have a white problem in America. And that is why I personally hold white people responsible. Not for being the leaders. That ship has sailed. I'm talking about white people responsible for caring and supporting Black people, African American people, people of color, and saying, what can I do to make this better? How can I use my white privilege to make sure that I am part of the solution? And we're not even close. We're not even close right now. So let me take some, off of my pedestal there. Selfishness is one reason. Absolutely. Selfishness. It's complicated. Michael, the profile fits those who are still in captivity. Okay. And hello, Dwayne. Please jump in. I know, Dwayne, you are a wealth of information, so jump on in. Jerome, let me see here. Jerome, I meet them all the time, right? I don't think it's one thing. Dwayne, my opinion is that if you haven't been through something, chances are you don't want to see what's happening. Yeah, Dwayne, I think you're talking about like learning vicariously and not being afraid to face the truth. And I get that a lot in what I do with social stuff online. I get people saying like, you're just guilty. And I'm like, you freaking moron. You're mistaking. This isn't guilt. I'm pissed. This is sick. We live a lie, and I'm not going to be part of it. I mean, I'm part of it by definition. I was born into it, but I'm not going to sit here and say, well, I was born into it, so there's nothing that we can do. I'm going to fight it with everything I have, and I'm going to use my privilege to, even if it's just a little difference, just to try to. It kills me that many people in America have bought into this total lie that we have some sort of Black person problem. It's not true. It's a lie. It's, once again, it's the opposite of what's true. We have a white person problem in America, and it is a big problem. People will say, "Oh, you just hate all whites." And no, actually, I don't hate all whites. I just know we can do better. I expect white people to do better, not to just stand there and watch while our fellow humans are being murdered by police and treated like second, third, fourth, fifth class citizens. I don't hate white people. I believe in them. They can do better. That's not hate. That's called having expectations. We have to do better. We just have to. So let me stop talking, which is really hard for me to do, and start reading. Let me see. Penrose. The system is designed for them and for their success. Absolutely. And Dwayne, racism, for example. Yeah, I think I know what you mean. If people don't seem to have this inability to live vicariously, and I don't really get it. That's why when I do seminars for white people, because I don't teach non-white people, they teach me. That's a lot of white people don't quite get that. They teach me, and then I try to teach the white people because that's my responsibility. I don't teach non-white people how to be, where to go, how to solve their problems. I don't live it. How in the world would I know how to solve the problems better than the person living it? I mean, my God, that's some arrogance. So, but I definitely think when I do the seminars, I keep this inability to learn vicariously in mind. And what I try to do is I try to put them through a little bit of pain. And I don't mean physical pain. I mean, I don't know if you guys have heard of it's like the garbage pail experiment. I try to simulate a little bit of like what Jane Elliott does, but not with the blue eyes, brown eyes experiment. I do the garbage pail experiment. And I assign seats and everyone gets a piece of paper or 2 or 3, and some people get 10. And some people who are in the front row get 10. And it's not fair. And some people get lessons too. Some people, and I give prizes for people who can make a basket, and they don't get to stand up. They get to stay exactly where they're at. And, I really simulate it, and I role play it out, and it's mean. And they get the feeling of what it's, I mean, just a little microscopic millionth of a drop. But you should see white people, what they do. Of course, you already know. They go crazy. They can't believe how unfair I'm being. People are getting candies and they're getting nothing. And it's not fair. And then I start making it a little bit real. And these white people in the back who are making a big fuss, they have to leave because they're causing problems. I try to make it so. You're right. White people really have a hard time living vicariously something they haven't, and all people do. But right now, we're talking about white supremacy. So we're talking about white folks. So let me get back to, let me see, Jerome. It goes to what I mentioned before. You have educated racists. Education alone won't solve the problem. Yeah, I know for me, and I don't want, obviously it probably won't, but in some of the groups that I've done, I have seen amazing things. The problem is it's a really hard, steep learning curve. This stuff is ingrained. This stuff is, I mean, we are born into this white supremacy, and a lot of us don't even know it. We're so in it. It's like that one movie, I always forget what the name is, where the guy was like, the Newman Show or something like that. I can't remember what it was, but anyway, he was born into this thing. And when you're born into something, it's kind of like normalized for you. But I've seen amazing things. But the honest truth, Jerome, is that for white people in America, it's a lifelong process. We'll never get there. I know I personally will be learning till the day I die. And not because I'm not trying hard, but because I will never know what it's like. But I will not stop trying. And that's what matters, is that it's a lifelong, I'll never get there. And it's just the way it is. So um, let me see. Um, Michael, if you have a Pinterest account, you can cross-reference civil rights and racism while reading the chapter. Oh, okay, okay, thank you. I appreciate that. And I definitely will, I'll probably have to get a hold of you to talk about that. Thank you, Michael. Oh, and Michael, thank you for being here. Seriously, thank everyone for being here, because I'm trying to do these live shows every week to get an example, a modeling of, I lived through talking about racism. And I know that might sound ridiculous, but I'm telling you, the further north I go in the state that I'm in, I'm talking one time I actually had someone shush me for using the word black. They're like, oh, shh, don't say that. I'm like, why? They know because I was trying to point out someone in a huge crowded room. And they said, oh, it's the little black girl over there. And she's like, oh, and she got all up in arms. I said, it's not a dirty word, you know. And she's like, oh, just don't say that. And it was just insane. The depth of ignorance. And I feel like, obviously, I don't need to be telling you guys this, but wow. And then I started talking about slavery and people being kidnapped. And the person was like, kidnapped? What do you mean? And I'm like, oh my God. So anyway, it's don't ever underestimate the depth of ignorance. Let me see. Ooh, Dwayne, your message was okay, retracted. Neil, white people are brainwashed that they are the superheroes and the heroines, that Black people and people of color are still sitting in the back of the buses waiting for their superhero to save them. Yep. I've heard of that too. And it's ludicrous, because Black people are saving themselves. Black women are the most educated people in America. Black women. People, non-whites, are saving themselves. I just think, for God's sakes, would it be too much to ask that the people who started and created this maybe step up to the plate a little and support real equality? I have no doubt that Black people are total kick-ass and are gonna, I mean, with everything against them, they're still kicking ass. But this is ridiculous. And as far as I know, I only have one lifetime, so I'm not sitting around going, well, I'll leave it to the other, the next generation. This is ridiculous. This should be a non-issue in America. Maybe my standards are too high, but Neil, thank you so much. That's an excellent point. We're not saviors. That ship sailed. That ship never existed. Let's put it that way. Dwayne, it's easier to live the lie than I just lost you there for a second. It's easier to live the lie than to face the truth. It's easier to do nothing. Yep. It absolutely is. Because you should have seen I shouldn't even say this, but at a dinner party that I happened to have just gone to, of course, I like to talk about racism, because I want to educate people, and that's what I want to do. And you would not believe how I was shut down, not overtly, not on purpose, but just passed over, because it is so unbelievably uncomfortable for white America. So that's one of the reasons I was saying before, I like to do this, talk to everybody. And I wish that you guys could be talking and me not reading, and it'd be more like a conversation. And I'm going to try to figure that out. If people keep watching and everything, I'll definitely look into that, because I want to have it be, a full conversation. But white people, for the most part, can't even talk about racism. They literally don't know where to start. When I was shushed by the lady, she was dead serious. She's like, don't say that. She was really upset, and she thought she was doing the right thing. I want us to be in a sample of people in a heterogeneous setting who talk about real, honest to goodness racism, the real thing. Neil, whoa. Back to a previous comment. There are no white heroes or heroines. Absolutely. Now, this isn't the way I look at that, Neil, is, and I know you agree with me, because I make you agree. No, I'm just kidding. I know you very well, Neil. And the fact is, you don't get credit for doing the right thing. It's like acting human. White people need to learn to act human. There's no credit for acting human. We're humans. We're supposed to do that. And I know that sounds mean, but it's like the whole, and I like people to get prizes for things. That's really nice, but you don't get a prize for treating your fellow human being like they matter. You don't get a prize. That's expected. So if that helps people to understand, maybe, who might watch this later on. Michael, P.S. Loved your interview with Dixon. Oh my God. Thank you so much. I love him. He's a great friend. He's a great human. And I was lucky. I didn't have to do it. He had to like reinvent himself. I mean, I didn't grow up in the South, and I didn't have parents that were overtly racist. I've always look at my implicit bias, but he had a very racist upbringing. So he had to actually, I really look up to him. He's a great man. And thank you. He's a lot of fun too. Really, he's the real thing. Let me tell you, he's the real thing. He's hardcore. So, and I love it. Let me see. Oh, Panama Girl, that's a great program. Thank you. The one with the basketball, I make them live it. And they leave. It's a crash course, but oh my God, I love doing it. I just love it, because they will never look at the world the same again. They will never. You cannot take this program that I do and be like, meh, whatever. They leave with their head spinning. And I know it's kind of a lot, but I figure I only have one opportunity, so I go for it. And thank you. And Michael, thank you. You inspire us. We knew all white people weren't crazy. I know. It's been a journey. Let me tell you, when I was a little girl, I thought I was imagining things, because the white people didn't say anything. They acted like they didn't see what I was seeing. And I thought I didn't belong here, because I thought I wasn't like everybody else. I thought something was really wrong with me. So the internet has been just, anyway, I could go on and on. Let me see here. The seminars. Okay, good. That's what I thought you meant. Panama Girl. Dwayne, the education must take place over time. It can't be a one-time training session. The key is to spark their interest. Absolutely, Dwayne. And part of the thing I do with my seminars are actually spread out for the white people. It's 10-week minimum, but every once in a while I do have to do a crash course, and it kills me, because what I've seen online through teaching white people to, I'm talking people who are raised as like KKK types. They have to, I think this is what you're referring to, Dwayne. They have to sit and digest it. Not once you're told something, like, they have to digest it. They can't just be told that and then they leave and they're a new person. They have to kind of like make it a part of their being, allow their mind to try to replace these with, their old. It's really a process. It's a long process. So yeah, it seems so simple. Treat people like humans, but when you've spent your whole life being indoctrinated into white supremacy, it's a process. I think that's what you were getting at. And the key is to spark their interest. Right. RG F Town. Hello. Question. Do you see the perpetual hatred towards people of color? Have you studied the notion that they are the real Jews? Yes, and yes, yes, and yes, and yes. All the above. I am, let me see. I'll ask your first question. Do you see the perpetual hatred? Oh, God, yes. Do I see it? Yeah, that's why I do what I do, is 'cause I can't take it. It's people think, oh, thank you. They thank me. I'm like, don't thank me. This is selfish. I can't take this shit. I from a little kid, I was like, why are they doing this? And I didn't even know what this was, but I knew it was something. But I just didn't know because I didn't have people teaching me. Like, and then when I was 12, I kind of figured it out. Then when I went to college, anyway, enough about me. But yes, 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 yes. And even though I'm not religious and I don't understand that part of history, I'm trying to learn about it. I have a friend who is a father, not like he doesn't have kids. He's like a religious father. Um, and I watch his videos, and he helps me to try to learn and understand to the point that someday I want to be able to explain it better. I hope that answers your question. Great question. Lakeisha, yay, you're here. Thank you. Hi, Sam. Keep them uncomfortable. Yeah. Um, Jane Elliott, Blue Eyes, Brown Eyes experience. Yeah, I love her stuff. I got to be taught by a person who was trained by her when I was 18 years old. And that was an amazing experience because it was the first time I found out that there are other people who they see this, they get this. I was like, it was amazing. And so I hold her to be like she's an amazing woman, Jane Elliott. She's amazing. Um, Avant, if you need to present context of racism frame of wealth. Oh, okay. So thank you. Avant is extremely knowledgeable and has been a mentor to me on a number of levels. And he's posted something. So thank you for posting that. I'm going to get that to show. I'm still learning YouTube. So Rama, thank you so much. Thank you. This is going to sound goofy and like, this is my life dream to be able to educate white people. And part of this live show is, and I don't want to white center all this because that's white supremacy. But the bottom line is I'm here to teach white people because it's not my place to teach people of color. That's ridiculous. That's just arrogant. And my part as an educator is to encourage white Americans to educate themselves and take some racial responsibility and support real equality. Our Constitution was not made for Black people. They weren't considered humans at its time. And that's disgusting. It's not like this stuff needs to be just, let's all learn something. This needs to be dismantled and reconstructed to include everybody. So it's a lot. But thank you so much, Rama. That's really sweet. Not just digest it, spark their curiosity to seek out the truth. Absolutely. And what I mean by digest is in parts, slowly. And the people in my closed group, that actually includes all people in historically marginalized groups, not just skin tone and amounts of active melanin in the skin. It includes everybody. We teach everybody, and everybody there is also a teacher. And that group I've seen over the last 3, 4, or 5 years, I've seen things really, really moving. I've seen miracles, basically. People who have found their voice and are confident enough. See, it's not enough to treat everyone nicely. It's a lovely thing and it's a good thing, but this is a system. This isn't about like individual white people. This is a system that all of us allow to continue. And so It's about the system. So anytime I'm present and there's overt racism, by me doing nothing, I'm for the system. And this type of talk that we're having, it's good for white people to watch and to try to get it. But yeah, Avant, they need to digest it slowly over time, because there's an order of operations that I've done a little bit of research on, and it's amazing. It's as if somebody tells you that they're an alien and you don't know there are other planets, even that they exist, you're like, hey, that person's crazy. That's the look you get from people who are overtly racist when you tell them certain things. I usually start with race is a human construct, and I leave it there. And I tell them about it, and and just they look into it. Maybe a week later, add something else. But I mean, this is some tough stuff. This is like deprogramming almost. I don't know. But anyway, Panadol. Approximately what number of white people do you get in any given seminar? It's really, really hard to get people to be in a seminar. It's very, very hard. So it's like you have to basically round up people. And what my goal is, if I can ever get things going better, is to get enough income so I can actually go into businesses. And the reason I want to do this, thank you for asking. The reason I want to do this is because I need the people who are on board come to my seminars. But they learn stuff and everything, but they kind of get it and they're interested in it. It's the people who don't want to be there. I'm not trying to be rotten, but it's the people who don't want to be there that need it the most. And they need it over time, and they need to hear it from another white person who's absolutely serious. Now, actually, they need to hear it from people of color and Black people, but they're not there yet. I'm talking, I don't know if a lot of people get just how, this is what I tell my new members that come to my online communities. Take what you think, how ignorant you think a white person is, multiply it by 1 billion, and you might be close. I'm just being real. I'm not trying to be mean, but the level of lack of, it's unbelievable is what it is. I could rant and rave. Brian, all these soulless bastards have is their racism, because they have nothing going for them, and they will be recompensated in the form of universal karma. Yeah, I mean, I say this a lot of times in my YouTube videos. If the best thing you ever did was be born white, that's pathetic. I mean, they're clinging on to it like they didn't do anything. They were born by chance. I mean, it's ridiculous. The whole thing's ridiculous. But yeah, I would like it if, and I believe in, the karma thing, all that, but what I'd really like is if white people would step to the plate and give a shit. That would be a nice way to kind of get karma rolling. In other words, we need to start educating our fellow white people on how to act human. And I know I sound harsh and mean and rotten, but that's how I feel. This isn't doing anyone a favor. This is how we're supposed to be. It's called being a freaking human. So anyway, don't get me started. Let me see, Dwayne. Yes, you explained it better than me. Oh, I doubt that, but thank you. They have to digest it. Crash courses are necessary sometimes. Here's part of the problem, Dwayne. I hate crash courses, but if I leave them with their heads spinning and they stay the whole time, they don't leave, they get something. You can't be a human being, and if they stay the whole time, they get something, and it starts. Avant, every single show, live show, that's exactly what I've done. The New Jim Crow by Michelle Alexander is phenomenal. It's like a Bible for this kind of thing. She's amazing. And people are always asking me, it's the only book I ever say you have to read if you're a white person trying to learn. Be ready to be pretty much a deer in headlights. Just be like, with your mouth dropped open. So yeah, thank you, Yvonne. I just skipped a couple people. Sorry about that. Oh, maybe I didn't. That is absolutely Yvonne. Also, the book, oh, Lies, yeah, The Lies My Teacher Told Me. Fantastic. These books are a way to inform them under the radar. Yep. Yep. Those two books are pretty much the 101. Thank you, Yvonne. That's awesome. The Cynic. White people are a billion times more ignorant than you think. I'm not trying to be mean. Ignorant about racism. We haven't, let me maybe, I guess you're taking that as mean. I don't mean it meanly. I mean it factually. We have a long, long ways to go, and it's a really steep learning curve. It's really steep, and it takes years and years, and we'll never get there in a lifetime, but we'll keep learning. I mean, this is a setup, and I guess I'm not sure how to address what you're saying, because see, here's the problem. Maybe I'll explain it. This racism and systemic racism and personal racism and white supremacy, it's not about us and our feelings. It's not about being mean or not. If we are try to get what I'm trying to say. I don't know. And please jump in, anybody who wants to. It's not about us. It's about equality. It's about being real. It's about stopping this lie that we're living. And when I say they're ignorant, I am not saying dumb. We're equally or more segregated than we were before, pre-64. So these people, 3 out of 4 white American adults do not have a single close friend who's not white. So I'm not saying, they're idiots, they're freaking idiots. I'm saying they're ignorant. Their ignorance is beyond human understanding in a lot of cases. So you have to start at the lowest levels. You can't just throw stuff at people and expect them to go, oh, okay, cool. This is their whole life's ideology that's getting screwed with. So it's really important to understand white people in this process will have their feelings hurt. 100%. I've had my feelings hurt. I screwed up. I screw up all the time. And yeah, it stings. And then I think, you know what? It's not about me. I'll live. I can take the hit. Systemic racism, there are people who won't live. They'll die because of it. And so it's kind of a philosophy. So I hope that explains a little bit. 1 billion is a big number, Michael. You know what? It is a big number. I don't know. Is that what I said? Panama goes, you don't sound mean at all. You simply seek truth and for this truth to be acknowledged. Thank you. I might sound over the top, but it's because I've been trying to understand for so long. And I just hear the same thing over and over and over again all the time. There's no new, the denials of racism and systemic racism and the classic cliche denials, I never hear a new one. They're all the same. Oh, Avant, off to bed in Paris. Thank you so much for being here, Avant. That was amazing. Avant doesn't live in the US right now, so thank you. Thank you so much. That was awesome and exciting. And yes, you made me nervous. Okay, let me see. Thank you, Panama Girl, for saying that. I honestly, I don't mean to be mean. I just want the truth to be acknowledged. You can always present your seminars on how you can maximize your business or increase your profits by introducing diversity, appeal to their selfish side. Yes, and Avant, I don't know if you're still here. That is exactly what I do with my brochures that I'm trying to get these corporate, they can be small businesses. It doesn't matter, any size. What matters is that they want the best corporate culture, and they want a purposeful corporate culture, not just, oh, we do whatever. No way, not whatever. We do the right thing, and we're inclusive. And absolutely, all the studies on inclusivity show over and over again, we are way better off with diversity. It's just some of the racist people who are, living with this over ideology, they just don't get it. We are so much stronger by being diverse. It makes us creative and inventive and ideas. Anyway, I can go on and on, but I want absolutely. And that is absolutely what I use to try to kind of get these businesses to realize the better culture you have in your business, the better applicants are going to apply, and the more diverse, and you're going to get the top people. So absolutely. Good night, the cynic. Can you name something today that white supremacy is doing? Yeah, I can name so many things. And the audience can help me out. Oh, I don't even know where to start. Our whole judicial criminal justice system is basically destroying Black families, communities, America. It's destroying us. I could go on and on. I don't want to spend that time here, but I can, maybe if people want to put a few things, I could go on and on. God, teaching, education, our criminal justice system, people being hired. I mean, there is not a single thing that white supremacy doesn't touch. And it's not just in America. It's our whole world now. I mean, it's not just us. But if you people, job equality, today in America, a consistent statistic is a white man with a criminal history can get a job over a Black man equally, qualified, who doesn't have a criminal history. I mean, a felony. I mean, that's ridiculous. It's unbelievable. There have been, social science is really, really good with that kind of thing now. Just like, science and technology is. But for some reason, people don't want to hear about social science because they want to stick kind of back with like their tradition of whatever it is, hatred, or just, keep things like they are. Yes, I have a YouTube channel that I do go more into detail. I have groups that I do things with, and the information is out there everywhere if you want to find it. And I'll help you talking to the cynics, which is actually fine. And yes, I think crime should be punished, but I think we shouldn't live in a nation that boasts total bullshit, which is liberty and justice for all. When we don't have liberty and justice for all, we don't have equality. It's completely not true. And everybody knows it. We have a national anthem that is racist, written by a racist person with racist lyrics. We have, I mean, I could go on and on, but absolutely, I could be more detailed, but I want to get to some more questions. Michael, we don't live on this earth that long, and nothing is really ours. We rent, then we pass it on. And Michael, that is the premise to everything that I do. We are on this earth for such a grain, not even a grain of sand in infinity. Why not be good to the people we're here with? What are the chances that I'm here today with you talking about this? What are the chances? I mean, I'm not a statistician, but I'm going to say they're pretty small. The fact that you're listening to my words and I'm reading what you have to say, um, why can't we just be good to the people who are here? Dr. Paul Farmer has my favorite quote on the planet, and I probably won't get it exact, but it's the idea that some groups are less important than others is the root of all that is bad in our world. I truly believe that with all my heart. While we're here, we're all brothers and sisters. We all know that, or at least distant cousins. Why can't we be good to each other? We spend more negative energy being racist and cruel and rotten. And if we all work together, especially in this nation, a nation that's wealthy, we have enough money in this nation to keep everybody at a certain level of subsistence. We just don't want to. It's not our culture. So anyway, I'm on a rampage here. Michael, thank you. You inspired me. RGF Town 1, you're not over the top. Racism is real. It's destroying the world. That's exactly what I think. I truly believe in all my years, I'm kind of old. It's destroying, it's the root of everything that is wrong in the world. When I was little, I grew up having people who told me, oh, those people over there in other countries, they just don't love their kids. They just don't care. My God, dehumanization, age 10. I mean, it's a lie. It's hard to face the stuff that goes on this planet because it's brutal. But my God, yes, they actually love their children just like we do. You know. Panama Girl. I love Joyce DeGray. She seems to be one of the few educators who talks about transgeneralization trauma and why isn't this investigated more? Yeah, are you talking about the signs, the genetic markings? Is that what you mean about how being traumatized in the extreme way with the systemic racism and everything in the past? I think that's what you're referring to, and that is, I think it's I wish Cindy would speak on that. Cindy's a PhD in the field, and she's like a genius. And I don't know a ton about it, but I know a little bit about it, and it's relatively new. I think it's something that should be discussed continuously. It's real science, and a lot of people just, want to see the proof, which is understandable. And we're starting to get to a point where we can see the proof. So I think it definitely should be discussed more. And a lot of people will deny it because, just like they want to deny it because they don't want to face the facts, so it's a toughie. Let me see. Job equality, Panama Girl, yep, is a definite, it's a definite area where systemic racism is out of control. In fact, yeah, Senate. Okay, the Senate. Any video of you debating someone that disagrees with you? Any videos of you, and it's not equal, but it's more of a poor versus rich, not black versus white thing. Yeah, definitely. There's a huge overlap in economics. I mean, it's a really convoluting thing. You're like, what is what? But the bottom line is the wealthiest black people still experience extreme racism, systemic racism, and personal racism. I mean, you hear these stories like how Oprah goes into this place and, people think, well, this isn't your shop, you shouldn't be here. Yeah, I mean, but there's an example that I think the cynic would be interested in. Actually, it's an example. I'm gonna have to wrap this up soon. I was gonna get back just for a second, very quickly, to some of the examples of the false understandings. Like I was saying, politicians need to be smarter on crime, not harsher. That doesn't work. Smarter, having punishments that fit the specific crime, natural consequences, not just kind of things that are one size fits all. We need to start really doing the right thing. And I get it. Adult prison is supposed to punish, but your freedom's taken away. I've just seen programs from other countries that are unbelievable. I mean, if our goal is to get citizens to be working parts of, good, positive parts of the community that are adding to the economy, throwing them in prison left and right with everyone in, it's just ludicrous. It's very, very antiquated way of thinking, and it's not working. And it's destroying lives. And a lot of it is racist, really racist. So we got to do better, you guys. So the second thing I want to use as an example is the huge number of people in our jails who are mentally ill. Yet we don't have a viable mental health system in America. This isn't just inhumane. It's a lot cheaper to give people outpatient treatment and services and medication and allow them to keep working, be with their loved ones, be productive members of society, rather than criminalize them and keep them locked up. How about the script where we decide we have an actual program for mental health? 1 out of 4 people in the United States need mental health services. Huge percentage of people who are in jails and prisons, they're mentally ill. How about we help them instead of lock them up? Maybe before they do crimes. It's kind of that old-fashioned thinking again. Talk about our welfare system. It may appear to make sense that if you require food, the government to give you food, you should be given the very minimum amount of food to deter you from, purposely not working and just taking the food and living the high life on our tax dollar. And that is a very, very antiquated way to think. I mean, this nation, we can afford a minimum quality of life for everybody. We just don't want to. I mean, think about it. The level of fraud in the welfare system is incredibly low, less than 3%. And it's the same for almost all crimes. When you look at the facts myth charts that are done by the actual people who do the SNAP programs and whatnot, most people who get SNAP work that can. That's just a fact. And a lot of them work in minimum wage jobs. And the corporations pay minimum wage so they can become really, really wealthy. And they can afford to pay, but they don't. And they get tax breaks and they get all these corporate welfare. And then our money goes to basically subsidize their workers because they don't want to pay them a living wage. So, I mean, the whole thing is just ridiculous. And it's because we allow the wealthiest people and corporations that are now human to act like they're not human. So I'll read a couple more. Neil, as hard as Angry Soccer Mom works to educate white America, she needs to have her own TV or thank you, TV or radio show, and we can help if we spread the word to our friends and even those who are not our friends. Thank you, Neil. Thank you so much. That would mean the world to me. Thank you, Dwayne, for saying that. Neil, she's doing what the rest of us should be. Thank you. You're so sweet. I don't need any. Thank you. That's very, very sweet of you. I don't need any credit whatsoever. This is what I want to do. But thank you so much, Neil and Dwayne. That's really sweet. I wanted to just quickly, I know I'm kind of ranting on, and jump in anytime, anybody. Oh, good night, Panama girl. Thank you so much for being here. You're so sweet. My big thing is, if you wonder where your next meal is coming from, that's pretty stressful. You know, I get all the stuff that Trump's trying to do to make sure that these people who are getting, free handouts aren't taking advantage. But my God, how about we help these people? I just don't get it. The people who get most of the SNAP are children, elderly people, people who are severely disabled, military people, and people who work at minimum wage jobs, who literally cannot put food on the table. We don't have a huge problem in America of welfare fraud and food, SNAP. We don't have a SNAP problem. We have a human problem. So, and, they spend tons of money on these people doing some states do this. They want drug testing. They want this and that. And the drug testing shows nothing. They can't afford drugs. They can't afford food. I know people who are on SNAP, and by the end of the month, they're really freaking hungry. They're going to food banks. These are good people. They're not fraudulent people. They're literally starving. I mean, I don't know. The fourth thing, and might seem kind of intuitive, because people always say slavery was so long ago. If somebody who can't make ends meet today, well, they just don't care. They just, they're just not trying. But upon further analysis, if you look into the social sciences, the technology that we have, accumulating wealth in America has been a living nightmare for Black people. We have redlining. We have sundown towns. We have de facto discrimination. We have overt discrimination. We have, if your parents were enslaved and weren't allowed to read and write, they weren't given mules and, 40 whatever's in a mule, 40 acres in a mule. We have people being imprisoned falsely. We have people being imprisoned for ludicrous amounts of time, destroying income, families, communities. It's like running an unfair race where the white people don't realize they have many centuries advantage. It's like they don't even know. I came across a perfect example of this, and I wanted to kind of wrap it up, and I will get to the last comments. I wanted to wrap it up with this example that I came across this perfect example a few weeks ago. I saw an article on how Republicans were really irate that more Black Americans were making it into medical school, and they were really pissed. And I read this article and I was like, dang, it does sound unfair. Wow, that really sounds unfair. And I thought, because of course I'm not buying it. The whole claim was that Black people were being taken over white people to get into medical school. And that's not fair. And they were taken just because they're Black, some sort of affirmative action thing. Well, I looked into it. And the claim that it wasn't fair because it was affirmative action and they were turning away qualified white people. So I thought, well, I'm going to look into this. So lo and behold, I did very simple research. And through this analysis and research, it was discovered that it was the most logical thing. The MCATs, which are, the tests that people take to qualify to get into medical school. The actual test scores were found to have a direct correlation, not with how smart you are, not with how well you did in college, with nothing except one thing: how much money, income your parents made. That was it. It was so directly obvious that the people who run or in charge of the medical schools all got together, and the board of medical schools said, we got to reshape this. This isn't right. What was happening was this. There are these MCAT like places you can go and get like special education for doing better. Like Kaplan and Sullivan. I mean, there are all these, everybody kind of knows those. And what was happening was the people who were getting in were the richest, wealthiest people, because it came down to their parents could afford the 1,000, or sometimes it's 1,000, 1,500. I mean, my family's looked into it. That you need one-shot deal to take one of these tests that will up your scores. And that's what they determined, is that it was all because of how rich your parents were. So what they did was the medical schools got together and they said, well, this is total BS. We're gonna fix this. And they started weighting the grades and other things more than the MCATs. They still took the MCATs, but they kind of put it in perspective. And that's what they were doing. And that makes sense, because I don't think liberal people want unfairness. They just want equity, not, I don't know. I just think we're lucky, based on what our history has been, that Black people and people of color, they just want equality and not revenge after what we've done. That's all I have to say. I will read a couple more, and I got to wrap this up because I got to let you guys go to bed. And thank you so much for being here. Okay, Neil. Okay. Michael, prisons are required by law to provide mental health programs for inmates. Supreme Court. Yes, I know that. They're required by law. They're required by law, but what really happens in reality is a whole nother story. And they're supposed to, but what's happening is people are doing crimes because of their mental health, because we really don't have a mental health system in America. You got to go to the hospital emergency room. That's where you go. And it's not cool. Let me see. I think I'm going to try to wrap this up on this lovely note. I cannot thank everyone for being here. Let me go scroll to the bottom. I have so much to say. Can you? Oh, John, reparations. Can you give your opinion on reparations to Black persons? What would that be in some details? Okay. First of all, I want to say that's a good question. And I'll while I'm spreading. Yes, I think reparations are absolutely a great idea. But here's my thing. As a white person, it's not my. I know this. I know you don't understand. It's not my place to like say. It's not my place to lead. It's not my place to tell. I'm to support, and if that's what Black people want, then I support that. It makes sense, because I'm not someone who tells Black people what to do, how to do it, and how to go about it. I just talk to white people, and I just talk to them and try to get them to care and to learn about our own racial history and learn the truth. But if somebody said, angry soccer mom, you're in charge right this second, you have to do it. My fear would be that any reparations would be taken away by white people. I'm just being really honest. And that the only way to truly make things equal would be to have equal equity. And what I'm talking about is free college, free tutoring, things that will even the playing field and are fair. So I'm not sure how it would work, and I haven't really thought it out in terms of like a NATO program, because it's not my place. This is for people of color and Black people to come up with. But absolutely, my fear is that a monetary amount we need to stop the systems. Like, we need to dismantle the systems, because reparations without dismantling the system's pretty strong. I mean, it's what our country was based on. I hope that answers your question, but thank you so much for asking that. Absolutely. I think it needs to be something that's can't be taken away. Yeah, something that can't be taken away. Let me see if there's any. Michael, good night, and thank you so much for being here. This is just wonderful. And John DC, I did not already address it, and that was a great question. I hope I made sense. And of course, you know I have more opinions, but let me see. I would like to say that this is my closing. It's way past time for white America to learn about and get educated in our racial history so we can support the truth and help support non-white people in America to get the equality, the liberty and justice for all that is meant for everyone. And if you believe, like I do, that it's way past time for white America to educate ourselves and take some racial responsibility, I would love it if you would ask your friends to check out my YouTube channel. And it's not for everybody, but if they want to learn and really, really start getting this stuff, it'd be great. And I wanted to wish everyone a happy new year. And I am adding in a short educational incentive after the new year starts. And it's going to be questions that you can look up the answers and learn about our real racial history and the stuff that's not in our whitewashed textbooks. And there's going to be incentive to win prizes for just giving an answer. And it really won't take very long at all. And there'll be incentives. So, and the last thing I wanted to reiterate, because I think some people may not have caught this at the beginning. This isn't about white people guilt. I don't feel guilty one bit. Maybe I should, but I don't. I'm pissed. I'm really pissed because I can't stand living in a world where we're so full of it. We're living a lie. We're living a lie. And that's ridiculous. Liberty and justice for all. How about we actually have liberty and justice for all? It's not about guilt. What you're seeing here is anger. It's not fair and it's not right. So thank you so much. And please personal message me for anything. And tell your friends to come join if you liked talking. And I can't thank you enough. And look out for the new quiz question. I'm not sure what I'm going to name it, but you can win a prize for learning. All right. And I can't thank you enough for being here. You guys are amazing. Dwayne, Happy New Year. And let me see. I hope I see you next Wednesday. Thanks. And remember, any topics, anytime. Okay? See you next time. Now I have to figure out how to say goodbye. Bye-bye.